Hello, welcome to Monday Night Live at Air2Ground Farms. I'm Rich.
And I'm Shelley.
Tonight we are talking about pork. We took 4 hogs to the processor today and it's fresh on our mind.
Yes, it is. They were big.
We broke our previous record of heaviest live hog that we have delivered to the processor. We had a 403, a 3.
I don't know. They're all in the 390s.
Yeah, and the rest of them were in the 390.
Yeah,
the other 3.
They were all nearly one was over 400 pounds and the other ones were really close. And they were a little bigger than we have typically taken them, or even they were a little bit bigger than the industry standard when people say you're supposed to process them, like say around the 275, right before 300-pound range. But we've found that honestly, we like them and our customers like them bigger.
Yeah, the industry standard says 250 to 300 pounds is the sweet spot, because after that, the feed conversion into muscle starts to drop off. So the industry's raised hogs, the pinkies that you see in hog houses, they start converting that feed more into fat. And because a lot of that fat is cut off, the industry doesn't want them to do that. And it's all about feed conversion, dollars and cents, right? So they want them processed, like Shelley said, an average of about 275 pounds. What we found, our hogs, we raise a breed called Berkshire.
We'll get into that more into detail here in a minute.
Yeah, but they don't do that. They continue to convert into muscle. So what you end up with is, instead of just a huge layer of fat on their back, you end up with some beautiful big chops.
But yeah, just a lot more meat.
Yeah.
For the processing. So we were pretty excited about that. They didn't want to get off of the trailer at all. It took 2 men to get them off of the trailer. They literally went single file backwards through the alley chute. They were very difficult. It was like
they went backwards onto the scales.
They were ornery as they could be. They didn't want to get off the truck. And I understand why, because it was like 19 degrees and flurrying at the time. And they were happy where they were, and they were big. And once the pigs get to a certain size, they know how big they are, and they literally just say, no. And so there was a little trouble. We kind of, backed up the line at the the drop off a little bit because it took a minute. But oh well, they got the pigs off, and everyone else got their turn. Something just happened to our screen. Like it froze.
Sure did.
Are y'all still there? What happened? Okay. That was interesting.
Who knows what happened?
The world just blows. Anyway, so we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about why we do what we do in that regard. But first, let's give a little farm update.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Well, weather-wise, you on the East Coast are catching what we caught yesterday. We went from 60s in the day to thunderstorms, high winds, and then it got down into the 20s last night, low 20s.
Yeah.
It made it up to about 30 today, and
the wind didn't stop blowing.
Yep. The wind blew very hard.
Show them that one picture from overnight. We had such winds that you'll have to look really close, but that is where the lambs live. And inside the lamb area, a chicken house was relocated last night and kind of bent up. It's a chicken cage that lived about 150 yards from where it's currently sitting. So it tumbled its way there, but apparently it didn't knock down any fences or hurt anybody or anything.
It just framed pretty good.
Yeah. So, but if that's all that happened with all that wind, we're good. It's okay. Yeah. The puppy is growing. and learning things. Her name is Zira, and she is our newest livestock guardian dog on the property. That's her. She's getting kind of fuzzy, and she's really starting to look like a dog, and she thinks she's a dog.
Yes, she is.
She's starting to bark. She's coming to us. She's staying with mom and learning things.
Yeah. We'll show you what she's learning.
If you can find the photo. There we go. So that's Ram Lamb, and he is probably like the kingpin. He's the boss of the Ram Lambs. And, well, they're not Rams anymore. They're actually Weathers, but he's still the boss. And he's so cute. He like went up, he was nosing her and, smelling, and she's learning him. And that's what she's going to do. She's going to watch over livestock. And this is the best training that she could possibly get.
Yeah. With her mom, with the animals that she will be protecting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was so cute this afternoon.
For sure.
Last week, we had the pleasure of hosting a field trip at the meat store, Air2Ground Meats in Ava. We hosted the Ava High School FFA meat judging team, a portion of them. And they came in and they needed to see and look at and really understand different cuts. We're the closest meat store. We're the only meat store in Ava, but we were close enough for them to just jot down from the high school and do a quick field trip. They were there for about an hour and looked through the lamb, pork, and beef freezers so that they could see, oh, this is about how big this is and what it should look like. And it was all frozen. And she actually said they judge frozen meat. They have to, because the judging takes so long that they can't have bleh.
So they lay out cuts of meat in front of them, and they have to first determine which animal, and then which primal, and then the specific cut, and then they grade that cut.
So fun.
Yeah.
With the FFA kids. That was neat.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah. Okay. So who's in the house tonight? Let's see who we got here.
In the house.
I see them in the section.
Yeah, we have Susie Q showed up early.
Glad you're here.
Yeah, we have Phil and weather.
Talking weather.
Missouri.
That's right.
Susie,
Wait 5 minutes. It's changed.
Yep, Susie Q chiming in with her weather also. My mom and dad are back home. Cold and windy, I do believe that. Windy, Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Miss Carol, I want chickens, talking about her crazy weather. Mary Lou's little homestead from Pasadena saying hi.
Hey there.
Maryland.
Glad you're here this evening.
Anna saying good evening. Mary saying a good night for white bean rabbit chili.
Ooh, that does sound good.
That sounds great.
Yum.
Who's next? Miss Connie saying hello, all from Fountain, Florida.
That
Probably not having our same.
no,
weather.
no, not same weather down in Fountain, Florida.
S. Allen, hello again from Okeechobee. 2 more weeks and we head north.
Oh, okay. The traffic in Okeechobee will reduce by half in several weeks.
Yeah. We have your mom and dad checking in, and she's letting me know that my mic isn't doing too well.
So I'm loud and Rich is quiet. Do you need to turn you up? Did something happen down here?
Probably. Cats.
Stand by. We're going to do a little. This is real life, so we're going to do some sound. Tell us if it's getting any better.
Let's see. Yep, that's better.
Testing. Okay. I've always been loud, Mom.
And then Phil saying the same thing, that my mic was turned down a little bit.
Okay, y'all are going to have to say if his sounds a little better.
Jeannie saying, sorry, a little late. Anna saying, were there chickens in that cage?
Great question. No, there weren't, thank goodness, because they would have been, I don't know.
Loose.
And what's the next state over from us? Like Kentucky?
Yeah.
If you just went straight east, I think they'd just be in Kentucky.
Homestead Jude saying hello from Charleston, West Virginia. Crazy weather there also.
It's wild. It felt it was spring, and then we just had, never count March out for some really wild weather. No, not March.
Firefox Kitty saying greetings from Arizona, where she was 90 lower hundreds.
You have that.
Oof.
I don't want the hundreds yet, but they do say it out there, it's a dry heat.
Yeah.
Kind of like my oven, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Isn't that what we say?
Mary talking weather and then saying awesome on the FFA field trip.
The FFA field trip was great.
Off Grid with Marty. Good evening, everyone from West Virginia.
Glad you're here.
Angels Homestead here.
Everybody in the house. Yes.
Anna, yep.
Snowbirds go north at east.
And then Xana saying, hey guys, late again. Sorry about that.
The funny thing is, my parents who are actually from the South, they're going to fly north too.
That's right.
For the summer because it's cooler up there.
Angels Homestead saying, hey from Oklahoma, love your pork chops and roast.
Oh yeah, we're going to talk pork chops tonight. One of my favorites.
Connie Clayton, yes, it's going to be low 30s in the next couple of days.
Mom says that it's good. The sound is better.
Good.
Okay.
Good
Cool.
job on the mics. All right. Good. Better.
All right. So
We have Miss Hannah.
Oh, hey, Hannah.
Howdy, hail. Saying hello from San Antonio.
That's daughter number 2 in the house.
And Anna saying FFA field trip was a great way to spread the news about your store.
Yes.
Yeah, agree.
Agree.
Thanks,
Yeah, not it is.
It is freezing again. There
We go. I don't know what's wrong with the computer, but oh well. So we dropped off the hogs, and it got us to thinking about pork chops, I guess, because we know they're big hogs, and we know they're going to be nice chops. We know that those pigs are going to provide a lot of pounds of pork, and we love pork. When we first started this farm, the pigs were the second animal group that we got, because we got some birds, and then we got pigs. And the reason we got pigs next was because we knew we needed to grow something that we could get finished, relatively soon. So the pigs, we knew like 6 to 8 months, and we would be making our own food and food potentially for other people. So that's why we started with the pigs first. After a couple of rounds of doing various types of breeds, we did Hampshire Burke Cross, Hampshire York Cross, a couple other breeds. We did
Pure Hamps.
Pure Hamps at one point. We decided we wanted to try another breed, and we wanted to go with a heritage, and we got our hands on some pure Berkshire. And once we tried first of all, they were fun pigs to have. But once we tried the pork from the heritage breed, from this particular breed, I knew when I ate it, like literally first or second bite, I can't go back to that other pork, because even the pork that we grew in the forest with non-GMO feed, the breeds have been changed. They have been bred to be very lean, and we didn't want lean, dry pork chops like we're used to getting at the store. And when we tasted one that was not like that, we're like, this is it. This is the kind of pork that we're going to grow and sell. It is some of the most premium that I'd ever, the succulence in them is just, it's wild that it tastes so much different. I wanted to show what I was used to buying and probably what you're used to buying, and then what we grew and give you a comparison on what the difference even is. Like, well, a pork chop's a pork chop and they're always dry.
So this is what we're all used to seeing at the grocery store. This is what a pork chop looks like. It's sort of pale white. You'll get a little bit of a fat around the edge, no fat inside. And this is the result of the push that I'm sure we all remember of pork, the other white meat.
Yeah, when everything had to be lean and eat a chicken breast.
Correct.
So they literally changed pork across the board in the commercial world.
So then here is a picture of what our chops look like. So you've got a lot of fat inside the muscle, a little bit larger fat cap around it, and then a deep red meat, not the light pink meat.
The first time we saw it, we thought that it was beef. It was pink like beef that you buy at the store. And yeah, it doesn't even look like the same animal, but it is. And I will tell you, the fat on it, which we like because we eat a low carb, higher fat diet, we want the fat, and it's so satisfying. And the flavor on it is just, it's so buttery, almost sweet. He smoked a butt one time, Boston butt, and I asked him what he had put on it, and he was like, just our normal spice mix and some pecan wood. I'm like, why is it sweet? And we finally determined it was the sweetness was just coming from the fat and the meat itself. And wow, it was off the charts. It really, really was.
For sure. Yeah.
So one of the things that we do know, though, is that by raising them the way that we do, they're never under stress. They get to walk around a lot in the woods, eating bugs, any nuts, acorns, greenery, things like that they just live a very happy, stress-free life. So they're all of the stress hormones that animals have as well, they're pretty much absent from them their whole life.
Yeah.
There's nothing for them to be stressed about at all.
Show them?
Yeah, let's show them.
All right. Here's our pigs.
They make me smile.
For sure.
So genuinely just living like pigs are supposed to live and allowing them to express their pigness. And did they look, yeah, they don't look like farm animals,
Yeah.
They really don't.
So let's contrast that to industry.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah. Where the other pork chops come from. There we go. Hog barn.
Yeah. That's the industry method, the industry style of growing pork.
Yep. They do it really quickly. They're very, very efficient. And I just don't think pigs were meant to live like that, I don't, no. So those there's a little compare and contrast. I think we might have some questions.
Okay. Let's see. We have Off Grid with Marty saying, how are the rabbits?
Oh, they're good. They're
doing
hanging
great.
out TikTok on the days of their gestation.
Yep, just under 2 weeks, I think.
Okay.
Hannah saying her husband, Matt, didn't like pork chops until he tried y'all's. Now we eat them at least once a week. So delicious.
Yeah, they just moved back from the UK in January, and they really want to buy a half or a whole pig from us and a half cow and all these things. Well, they're training down in Texas, and they have like a small apartment-sized refrigerator. Yeah, efficient, a little one. And I thought one day, I'm like, wait a minute, I ship meat. I'm like, Hannah, why am I not shipping you meat? So no, she just puts her subscription order in every week, and you're, throwing meat through UPS down there to Texas.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's great. So they've got a freezer full of delicious home farm grown meat in their freezer.
Yeah. We got Trish saying, made it. Hi from North Central Washington.
Oh, so glad you're here.
Off Grid with Marty. I'm slow baking a Boston butt in the oven right now.
Oh, yum.
That's awesome. Trish saying, beautiful eggs. Thank you.
Thank you.
Carol, I want chickens. How long does it take to grow out that type of hog before you send it to the processor? So what we find is we used to buy them, the Berkshires, and it was 6 months from the time we got them on farm.
And how old were they when we got them on farm?
And they're 2 months old when they come onto the farm.
About 8 weeks.
About 8 weeks. Mm-hmm. So at about 8 months is when they hit that 250 to 300 pound range. At about 10 months, which is how old these guys were we just took, they're pushing 400 pounds. So towards the end, they're gaining weight pretty good. So if you want industry standards, they'll be about 8 months old. If you get them closer to a year old, you're getting a bigger, 100, 150 pounds more and a lot more meat off of that guy.
Yeah, we didn't know to let them go that long, really, but a custom processor that the farmers here in the area, he said he was letting his grow bigger,
400 plus pounds.
And once you get they have intermuscular marbling already, but even as they get bigger, the marbling even gets more pronounced in especially the leaner cuts. And he said the flavor as they're turning out was even better at up over 400 pounds. So he was growing his up even bigger. So we decided to let these go longer and see how they turn out. They're going to be amazing.
Yeah. We have Jeannie saying, I love pork. It is the best source of vitamin B and often contains 2 to 10 more than other red meats.
Yeah, we love it too.
Mm-hmm. Becca saying, just got finished feeding those guys.
Another cool thing about the Berkshires is I don't know if you noticed in the video, but they're very long bodied. They're not round, plumpy animals. And that long body is there for a reason, to make more bacon.
And that has some to do with the genetics that we have. And I think we'll get into genetics a little bit.
Okay.
That long body, the show pigs, if you're going to show pigs, you don't want our pigs.
Right.
The show ring looks for that short, rounded, high backed, really squishy face, big jowl, thick fat cap on the back. And that is not what you're going to get with ours.
I don't know. Foreign show pigs, I never show pigs.
Hannah saying, the fact that pigs being pigs is fringe is so frustrating.
Yeah, it is.
We agree.
Yeah, we agree.
Yep. And then old school Nana saying, that makes me sad. Pigs are so intelligent. That life has to be so miserable for them.
Yeah, I don't know if it is or not. I do know they take measures because they are smart and they get bored and they'll do things like bite each other's tails. So they dock them so that they won't do that. There are measures that they take in order to, keep disease down and all of that. But because of their smarts, I think they have to do things like that, like docking their tails off.
Yeah. So Jeannie says, how do your pork prices compare to those factory raised pigs?
Not even close. Probably
Close to double, if not
it's
double.
over double. Because of the way it's raised, and it's fed GMO free fermented food twice a day. So on price, it's a premium price for a premium product. That's why we like to talk about it, because it's a lot of people will say you can get that at Walmart. Well, you actually can't, because what they offer at Walmart is what happened factory, and then but what offering is something that has been hand fed twice a day and moved around the forest so they can live well. And so
and grown on a small farm and processed by a small processor and fed local feed.
Yeah.
Right. Like we don't involve the big industrial model in any of it. Right. So the industrial model is what it is so that the prices can be cut down as low as they are. And if you compare it to something like Walmart, their profit margin to stay in business for Walmart is 2.8%. So they make less than 3% profit on sales. And for a small business to be considered even viable, like if you're less...
A small farm, even.
Yeah. If you're less than 25 to 30%, then you're in danger of going bankrupt.
Right.
So the whole idea here is completely different than the industrial model, be it from the farm itself all the way through to the conditions that the hogs are raised in. If you can put, 1,000 hogs in the area that our 10 hogs spend about 4 weeks and then move on, but you've got 1,000 hogs turning them over about every 4 months.
Yeah.
Right. Like just the area, the space alone.
Yeah. The whole process is completely, you have commoditized and then you have not commoditized.
Yeah.
The prices, but I will tell you, because here's where I've come with it on the pricing, because sometimes it just hurts my heart to even put the price on there, but we don't have a choice. It is what it is. And that's what the product demands. But what I've noticed is we have them cut about 1 inch thick, and that joke about that big. And I could sit down with a pork chop and maybe some broccoli, and that's enough. It literally simplified our meals, because the quality of it's easier to cook. The quality of the meat's so good, and it's so satisfying. A piece of meat, I don't have to have all the other things to go with it. So it simplified the meal hugely, and it simplified the cooking, because I was having to brine and marinate and sauce and all of this, our other meats, when we were buying it at the grocery store. But when we started cooking this, we don't brine it anymore. We don't have to sauce it. Yeah. We throw some farm dust on it. If y'all don't get it, I'm going to highly recommend Weaver's Dutch Country Farm Dust to you. We don't make it. We just love it.
Sometimes just use salt and pepper.
Sometimes just salt and pepper, and throw it on the grill. And it is the meat and what's there is so good. It doesn't need anything else. And I used to say that about my steak. Like, well, if I need sauce, it ain't that good. But now I say it about my pork chops or my ribs. Like ribs, the other night he cooked us some ribs, and I just threw in some little bit of lemon juice and some farm dust, grilled them. No sticky sauce.
No one asked for sauce either.
Not one person at the table asked for sauce for ribs. So I think it is expensive, but when that's what you're buying, that's what your meal is going into, then that's how I started. That's how I got away from the price or the sticker shock.
Yeah. Another question. Jude says, your pigs look so happy. Do they girdle trees?
Yes, they will. Yes, they do. If we leave them in a place too long, then they'll do that. Now, the woods they're in are overgrown. So if they do that, it's not a super big deal to us right this minute, but yes, they will.
They will, absolutely.
Yes.
We've found that the mature black walnut trees, they do not girdle them. Maybe the bark is just harder, or they don't like the taste of it, or whatever, but they don't girdle the black walnuts. The smaller saplings we're trying to get rid of anyway.
Right.
So they're actually helping us there. They have taken a couple trees that I wouldn't have wanted them to, a couple of, maybe, I don't know if they were oak or elm or what they were, but they've girdled a couple that.
Well, last year blew out my knee. The pigs stayed in an area a little longer than they would normally.
Yeah.
And that's not happened.
Yep.
But it was a manpower thing.
Yeah.
Really.
Trisha says, show pigs just look weird. I saw them for the first time a few ago.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. And last night I made pulled pork in the Instant Pot. I will never cook it any other way.
Oh,
That's cool.
that's cool. Who knew?
Carol says, what is your opinion of bone-in or boneless pork chops? Do the bones provide more flavor?
In my opinion, yes.
Same. I think it evens out the cooking process a little bit. It slows it just a touch for you. So are we going to talk about how to cook pork?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. Do you want to do it now or later?
Oh, yeah, we can do it right now.
So the thing that happens with pork, one, we showed you the pictures of it being the other white meat. So it's very, very lean, and like very, very lean cuts of beef, if you cook them quickly, they tend to dry out and get tough. And that's what I think most of us, at least, were used to with pork that you buy in the grocery store. So we would brine it. We would do other things to try to compensate for that. But with these guys, if you cook it slowly, you don't get any of that. It doesn't dry out at all. It doesn't get tough at all. It stays tender. It stays moist and very, very flavorful.
Yeah. The Berkshires are more tender than the grocery store meat anyway, than the other ones that we raised, even the ones that had the Yorkshire cross in them, far more tender. But yeah, the slower and then kind of sear them at the end is how we like to do it. And don't overcook them. Everyone is very, we were all taught your pork has to be done because of trichinosis. Trichinosis is very, very rare in the pork industry anywhere now.
Yep.
But we've all been taught to cook it so long, and that's when it gets dry and tough, and it's just yuck. Don't cook it so long. Don't cook it over 180 degrees. Stop cooking it at like 155 and let it rest and let it finish as it rests. And it will be done. It will be safe, and it will be delicious. Is that about 155?
You do you, but I think I normally pull hours off at 145 and then let them rest, and they'll get up, right at 150.
Yeah. So that's how we do it.
All right. And then Jeannie says, what does the non-GMO feed consist of?
Corn. It does have corn and soy. Very difficult to find feed that doesn't. It's that would make the price of them be like something
If you go with a corn-free, soy-free food, the only one we've ever found is organic, and it is probably 3 to 4 times the amount that we pay, which is already double the amount of just conventional hog feed. So it would make the chops, like they'd probably be more expensive than lamb. I mean, it would make them
it would
crazy
be stupid.
expensive.
So corn, soy, oats. When they're on the pig and sow ration, it's a full ration. They all have minerals in them as well, so that we don't have to supplement them because it comes as a full ration for the animal. What else does it have in it?
That's about it.
Yeah, that's about it. And I mentioned we ferment it. We use large freezers that are no longer, the compressor's gone out, and we make big batches in the freezer. And a lot of times if I have some raw Jersey milk that I have too much of, like today I had too much and came out of the refrigerator and I dumped out 3 or 4 gallons of raw milk in there. So that adds to it as well. So you don't have to feed them as much bought stuff because they're supplementing with the milk. But that's pretty much what's in it. And it's all ground up and it's not pelletized. It looks like cracked corn and ground oil and minerals and oats. That's what it looks like. And it smells like food. Yeah. I mean, it does. It doesn't smell like pelletized hog feed.
Yeah, if you pick it up, it's just corn and soy chop.
Well,
basically.
Our breeder pigs that we don't eat, like our boar and our sows, they eat a hog ration that is a pelletized ration that's, fully blended for them. And because we're not going to eat them. And the feed, it smells completely different. It looks completely different. I wish I had a picture of the feed, but I don't right now. But it's important. It's a very important part of the process.
Yeah. So Angel's Homestead said, I used my first pair of pork chops from us and made them like my ham I make for Thanksgiving, Coca-Cola and a brown sugar glaze, and then followed that up by saying, I'm never doing that to your pork again.
Well, let me know. Send more.
Yeah, for sure. A question. Homestead Jude says, what do you think about IPPs? Kevin and Sarah raised them.
They do.
Is it a difference between homestead goals and meat store goals?
Great question. We do raise IPPs. And IPPs have Berkshire in them.
The first time we went to Kevin and Sarah's house, we were like, oh, you have Berkshires. I thought you had IPPs. Like when you look at them closely, you can start to see the difference. But from a distance,
we thought they were Berkshires because they look just like them.
Yeah. So the IPPs take longer.
Only a little.
Right? Yeah, probably a third longer. So instead of 8 months old, they're probably 12 months old, 10 to 12 months old. That's probably about it. We've had their pork. It's delicious.
It tastes nearly it tastes real close, if not the same as ours. It's very good.
To answer your question, I would say yes, I think it is a difference between homestead goals and meat store goals. So with the Berkshires, we feel like we've come to a middle ground between, say, a land race or something that is just huge and meant to grow really, really fast, and the true homestead breeds like the Cooney or the American Guinea hogs that take like 2 years to grow out. Like the Berkshires are a better balance for us.
One of the things, IPPs, I think they're better grazers than
they don't. Their snouts are shorter.
They're even shorter.
So they do less damage. They don't do any damage, but they do less damage to pastures. If you keep them in the same area, they're going to root some.
Sure.
But they do less damage.
Yeah. Yeah. But IPPs are great.
Just takes a little bit longer.
Maybe a little longer to get, especially the size. I don't even know how big they get. I'm assuming big if you let them go.
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I do know
enough
that
about
when we drop hogs off at the processor, the American Guinea hogs that are there, it looks to me like
that's not even the same
you're
category.
processing a piglet.
Yeah.
It's like that thing probably only weighs 125
We were
pounds.
discussing that. Not set the IPPs aside. The American Guinea hogs and the Coonies. A lot of homesteaders were sold that. And I don't really know why, because it does take them a long time and you're trying to grow your own food. And you don't get much out of it. Maybe because they're like easier to handle for processing if you're doing it on your property, because you're not having to, boil and scald 300-pound hog and deal with all of the meat and stuff. So I can see on the size and processing side, but it takes so long for them to grow. I do not see the value in it.
Some people are afraid of their size, and they say, well, we have kids and those hogs are huge and I just want something smaller. And my reply to that would be, then don't let them get that big.
Right.
You know, like you could.
Yeah, you're in control.
If you're wanting a 150-pound hog, you could process that Berkshire at probably 4 months old, and it would be that old.
Sure. You mean that big?
Yeah, it would be that big.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a great question. Yeah, we had actually even talked about talking about that.
So Carol says, you just described my overcooked pork chops.
Oh.
Could substitute as hockey pucks.
Yeah, who wants to eat that? Pork chops can taste good.
Yeah. And then Susie Q said, we had Duroc pigs. They're similar to the Berkshires because we had them as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And
a couple of other breeds are, and we even thought about a few of the other ones. Duroc was one of them. Tamworths, I think, are.
Red Wattle is close.
Red Wattle's close.
One of the other guys in our area that raises Berkshires also raises Durocs. And he's now crossing them, and he's really, really liking the breed.
No, that's cool. Yeah. Yeah. We found something that we liked, and we just stuck with it.
Yeah.
There are good heritage breeds.
Anna says, I think the main reason homesteaders were sold on Kune Kune and IPP is just because they don't root up the paddocks.
Right. Yeah. That makes sense.
Tricia says, I raise Kune Kunes. Handling them while live is much easier.
Okay.
We've raised feeder pigs as well, but we feel more comfortable with breeding smaller pigs.
And
also, we value the lard from the Kune Kunes.
Cool. Thank you for that. Yeah, that's what we thought, was the thing.
And if you're not trying to do it on a production model, right, on a larger scale, like we're at the end of the day, we're trying to sell a product and not just put pork in our freezer. So trying to find that balance between the two, I think, was important for us.
I was going to ask about. So are the Kune Kunes actually, they are easier on your pastures? Like they graze and not root things up?
So Tricia says some of the Kune Kunes do grow bigger than others too.
Oh, okay.
And then Anna says, and the homesteaders want to keep them moving from paddock to paddock.
Yeah.
And we do that. We move ours from paddock to paddock in the woods. And we're actually wanting them to root things up a little bit because there's so much growth and underbrush. And
they're working for us in the woods, clearing it out right now. They kind of have a land clearing job also. Yeah. Cool.
That sort of clears the comments for a moment.
Okay. All right.
Leave us. Why Berkshires?
Oh, I think we said why Berkshires already.
Okay. We talked about how we raise them.
Mm-hmm. Y'all keep the questions coming while we flip through our papers here.
So one thing we didn't talk about, the hogs that we have, like the actual ones, we said, and even did a podcast titled, why we will never farrow hogs, or just say no, or we'll never do that.
We finally said no to something on the farm. We'll never farrow hogs or pigs.
So we didn't really have to farrow on farm. It's a whole nother enterprise. So it's not just pigs. We now have breeding stock, and there's things that you have to do to piglets that you don't have to do to feeders. And then we're producing more piglets than we feed. So now we're selling live animals also. Like it's its own enterprise, and we didn't want to do it. And what we said was, as long as we can continue to get high quality feeder pigs, we're not going to farrow them ourselves. And it wasn't long after we said that the gentleman we bought our feeders from contacted us to say that he was getting out of the business, and
Would we like to buy him out of his breeders?
and we thought about it and prayed about it for a while, and actually we had the question happened where we were thinking and praying about it anyway, and it seemed to be pretty much an answer to prayers, and that's when we said yes to them. And what we got was a registered through the American Berkshire Association boar and registered sows. So we have a registered boar and 5 registered sows. And the boar, he is extremely high quality from a meat production perspective. His genetics scored very, very high in national competitions. And one of the reasons is they are very long-bodied. And, you saw our guys, they look like they're stretched out and not that big, round back thing. They've got backs, long bellies. And what that gives you is long belly, which is where the bacon comes from, which is your real premium cut. So not only is it Berkshire, but it is a pure Berkshire registered and bred for
Quality meat.
Production.
Yeah.
So the themselves, like our actual, the that are out there, the quality is high. And every time we have farrowed, we've sold all of the feeders that we have put up for sale.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Because the quality is that high.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we've got a few more discussion points now.
Fun.
We've got Trisha saying they are much easier on pasture.
Good.
Jeannie saying, I worked on a pig farm years ago, and my job was vaccinating and castrating the babies. That was my practice job before I became a nurse. Do your pigs get vaccinated? They do not. They're not on farm long enough to keep them moving through clean ground. So
we deworm them, and we deworm them at one time when he castrates them. He deworms them to help them out as little ones, and then off they go. And we move them and have not had, keeping them moving on not letting them sit somewhere for a year. Keep them going, and you're not going to have the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the castrating, I found timing is the important thing there.
The breeder, now the mamas and the daddy, if we see that they need it, then we will deworm them, but we have not vaccinated them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We haven't dewormed them either, but not that we won't. Tricia says, I leave my kunis in a winter sacrifice area, and even then they barely dig anything up.
That's
Regular
cool.
pigs are much at turning the land, and that is of value too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They'll have their place. And I wasn't meaning anything by the kuni or the American guinea hogs. They have a fit. It's just what we just don't have that.
Carol asks, since the Berkshires are not a larger pig, do you use pins with walls, or can you use netting that is electrified?
If we need to pin them up, we use hog panels, which are welded wire. If we need to actually keep them in a space,
Like bigger welded wire.
cattle panels,
like a cattle panel.
they're not there very often. And mostly we keep them in with electric wire, which is a strand of, we use metal now, but a strand of metal wire that goes around maybe something the size of
A tennis
I don't
court
know.
when they're
Let's say a
starting
tennis
out.
court. Yeah.
And we started using the poly braid, and we just found that the pigs can break it. And so we moved to a medium electric wire, and we just run that or roll that medium tensile onto a roll like a poly braid, and they can't break the metal. So, even if they push on it hard, it just pushes back and it shocks them.
So for the non-farmers, poly braid is the big reels, and it's basically like rope with little tiny strands of wire that is run through basically like a vinyl rope. Mm-hmm. And that those couple of little strands of wire they electrify. And so that's poly braid, real tight on a big reel, like a fishing reel. So that's what they were breaking. And so we moved to a wire that's thin, like that one, that's pliable enough that will still go onto something. It's a reel. It's about this big, and it will go around it, and we can roll that up like a fishing reel as well. And whenever it's time to move them, we take it up and then we unroll it and put it back out. So for the medium tensile, high tensile, all that, like, it's wire that's pliable enough to go onto a roll, and the other one is a rope with some metal in it.
And we use rebar that we cut into like 2-foot sections, and there are insulators that will slide over that rebar, and that's what we use to hold it off of the ground. And as they grow, we move the wire up. We start them with 2 wires when they're piglets, and we then transition them to 1 wire, and you keep it basically nose height. So as they grow, you just keep raising it up a little bit. They walk up to it and want to touch it. They want to sniff it. So that's the first thing that they do is walk up with their nose.
Did you guys know that pigs don't see very well? That was something that we learned having pigs on the farm. They don't see well. And they see where they eat. Most animals, their eyes are adjusted for whatever their food is. And so the pigs, their vision is all right here at the ground. They can see great up close. They're like the opposite of me. They can see great up close. They cannot see anything out in the distance. And that's why, like, they can get spooked really easy if you walk up on them and they don't know you're there, because they don't really see what's happening. That was just a little fun fact there. They don't see good.
Another good question here from Homestead Jude. If you processed a Berkshire earlier than normal, would it still have the same level of intramuscular fat? Same question with processing a steer early.
It won't have as much.
Neither of them will.
Neither of them will. No, they need to get older and eat more and have time for that fat to develop. No, because we've done some younger, and there wasn't as much fat.
No. Anna says on Sow the Land, they started with coonies and they only eat the grass, rooting up the pasture. But to grow out for family meat, they added another faster growing species.
Got it.
But I can't remember which one.
Yeah.
That's what she says.
Probably an IPP.
Angel's Homestead, how long do the Berkshires, are they able to give piglets? I think from what I know, we haven't had to retire any yet, but from what I know, it's somewhere around 6 years or so. And from a production perspective, what you look for is if there are 2 farrowings in a row, or 8 like less than 8 piglets, then that's telling you that their body is not doing as well anymore. And we have not had that issue yet, but that's what we'll look for, is as the number of piglets start to drop off, then you retire them. And a lot of times, our mentor, what he would do with his retired sows is process them and make them do whole hog sausage, and which is amazing.
Oh my gosh.
Because all of the things like the loins and things that normally wouldn't go into sausage does. And he was able to command a premium price even higher than normal sausage because it was whole hog. So that's sort of what you do with them.
Really good.
And then Anna says, what are your plans for replacing the boar and sows as they age out?
The sows, we will just pull gilts as we see if they fit, if they look like they're perfect little girls, we can just keep those back. We don't register. Like if we keep a gilt back, cause it would be like father-daughter, we don't register those. Actually, we don't register any of them.
That's called line breeding. And when your genetics are as good as what we've got, line breeding is a way to keep your genetics high.
No, I know.
So it's not necessarily a bad thing. Animals, but father to granddaughter isn't necessarily a good thing.
And we don't keep them that long, so no. But as far as that is also concerned, when it's time for him to go, we have some contacts for people who have the same genetics or that really high genetics. We'll go get a boar from somewhere else again.
Yeah.
And bring new genetics in. And for him, I don't know, like probably just tell him thank you and put him down.
Yeah.
When it's time. But he's good.
Yeah, he's good.
He's good for a while.
Trish says you don't have to apologize. No offense.
Oh.
Everybody has their purpose.
That's right.
And my dad says farming 101, never say never.
Never say.
That's the truth.
Yeah. And it turns out it's, the farrowing thing, it's hard because, moms lay on them and they're little and all of that. But it's also, if we just say we know we're going to lose a certain percentage of them because we raise them out in the forest, we give them some big bales of hay to nest in and have their babies. And we know, like, as long as it's not super cold, we know there's a certain percentage we're going to lose. And then the levels off and they're really quite fun and entertaining.
Yeah. And like, there's some nature involved there, right? Like pigs, they have average 10 to 12, sometimes 15, 16 piglets. A cow has one calf. Like the species, a cow, bovine, they're not designed to lose any offspring.
Yeah.
Where a pig, they're having enough that you can lose offspring and still.
As far as nature is concerned.
As far as nature is concerned.
Yeah.
So just the sheer number that
that's true.
that they have sort of accounts for that. Anna says, didn't know that pigs couldn't see well. I do know that rhinos also can't see well. Home said, Jude, interesting answer. Got it. So the young ones are like skinny teenagers. Yes.
Yep. I was going to say that. It's like skinny teenagers for humans or for us. They're the same way.
Jeannie says, weird facts about pigs are they are highly intelligent creatures that can play video games, recognize their names, and dream. Mother pigs sing to their babies.
Wow. Yeah. And that's why we don't want to see them in barns, really. We don't. But I understand the food system is what it is. But
yeah,
we do like, I don't want to
sound weird, like take pride or we like it in their environment, right?
Yeah.
Like when we go out and see them living in the woods and rooting around.
Like it genuinely does our hearts good to see them being and doing what they're supposed to be doing. Yeah. The pride's the wrong answer. It's more like it literally, it makes our hearts feel good to just, when Michaela was 10, she said, if I was an animal, I would want to live on this farm because a little girl, because they're just, they just get to be animals. It's the hardest way to farm on the planet. Like it's hard, it's slow, it's expensive, but it's right and it's good. I think that's what we know too. So, all right, a few more, and then we'll let these people run.
Yeah. Homestead Jude says, I wish the industrial system could do it like you all do, so much better for the animals and consumers.
Yes, it is. I think we could, but it'd take a lot of work. There are people, there's some farmers out there that are doing it, and we just have to get the word out that that's what we want. And when we vote with our dollar and we do things like we're doing now and talking about it and saying, hey, you can go to air2groundmeats.com and get some food that is raised like this, or find some in your local area and support the farmers that are doing it. That propagates the whole thing. People will be happy to do it for better food if it's supported.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does that cover it?
It is.
All right. Well, this has been fun.
That's a wrap.
All right. You guys have a wonderful week and take care. And we will see you back here on Monday night.
Yeah. Thank you for hanging out with us, and see you again next Monday.
Bye, y'all.